Hello children, how are you today? It's English time. I'm Gabriela.
And I'm Akshay, and today we are going to talk about the past simple and the past continuous. So let's go.
Very good. Let's move on. Welcome to the past.
Of course.
What are we going to talk about today, Akshay?
Today, Gabriela, I think we'll talk about the 4 different tenses. First of all, the past tense, the past simple, we have the past continuous, the past perfect, and the past perfect continuous.
Very good.
But before we really actually move on, I think it'll be helpful if we can explain to the students
Yes.
what these tenses really talk about. So let's go.
Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Good. So, I'm here. I'm Mrs. Present. I'm right now here in the present.
And before that, we have the past. So let me go to the past, the
Good.
past simple.
Good.
I'm out here. Yesterday, I did something. Yesterday, I walked to school
Very good.
in the past simple. But yesterday, while I was walking, something happened. So yesterday, when I was walking to school, I saw an accident,
Very
which
good.
becomes the past continuous and the past perfect. I had finished my work when my friend came.
Very good.
Similarly, we have the past perfect continuous. I had been working for 2 hours when my friend came.
Very good, teacher Akshay. So, I'm in the present. Sunt în prezent, da? Aici. În trecut. Trecutul simplu. Ieri am mers pe jos până la școală. Past continuous. An action in progress. Mergeam la școală. I was walking to school when I saw the accident. Când am văzut accidentul. Past perfect. I had finished my work when my friend came. Îmi terminasem de lucru când prietenul meu a venit. And the last one, past perfect continuous, an action in progress in the past, before another action in the past, I had been working for 2 hours when my friend came. Lucram de aproape 2 ore, de 2 ore, când a venit prietenul meu. Okay, so, present simple, past simple, past continuous, past perfect continuous.
In
The
fact,
past.
Gabriela, the past perfect is also known as the past of the past, because
good.
this action I had finished was done before the friend came, before another action. So there are actually 2 pasts.
Very good.
Today, Gabriela, I think we are going to talk only about the past simple and the past continuous. But before we start, Gabriela, I would
Yes.
like to ask you, is it the same in Romanian?
The past simple.
The past simple and the continuous?
Okay, so we had the past simple of the verb to be.
Yeah.
For example, eu eram, m-am dus, eram la cinematograf ieri. I went to the cinema yesterday, or I was at the cinema yesterday. So this is the past simple of the verb to be. And the past continuous, for example, an example, I was walking to school when I saw the accident. Da? Mergeam. So we've got imperfect here. Imperfectul din limba română. Eu mergeam înspre școală când am văzut accidentul. Deci să țineți minte, the past simple. Avem și noi în limba română trecutul, da? Eram, al verbului to be, sau alte verbe. M-am dus, am făcut, am cumpărat, da? Și past continuous, imperfectul. Făceam, luam, cumpăram, mă jucam. Very good. And we'll move on with the uses and the formation.
Correct.
Okay? Good. Let's see now. What do we have here in the past simple? An action, yes.
Exactly.
An action in the past. And we also use the past simple for a past habit. Tell us, Teacher Akshay, about the 2 actions in the past.
Out here you can see, according to the graph also, the past simple is used for an action in the past. Here is the present, and the action has taken place before the present.
Very good.
I'm using the simple present for this. I'm using the past simple for this. I ate at lunchtime. The action is finished.
Very good.
Past simple, I ate at lunchtime. Past simple can also be used for a habit that we had before,
Very good.
such as this. I played the violin when I was young.
Very good.
These three crosses actually show that for a period of time you were doing something. I played the violin. It was a habit.
Very good. So, in the second example, vorbim despre lucruri pe care le făceam în trecut, dar acum nu le mai facem. Au încetat. For example, what did you do when you were younger? For example, did you play any musical instruments, Akshay?
Not really any musical instruments, but I played football when I was young.
Very good.
I also studied when I was young. I read a lot of books when I was young. So all the past simple.
Very good. Okay, I used to drink tea, or I drank tea when I was younger. Now I drink coffee. Okay? Good. Deci când eram mai tânără beam ceai, acum beau cafea. Deci lucruri pe care le făceam în trecut, dar acum nu le mai facem. Let's move on, Akshay, to the next one.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the formation. How do we form the past simple? Very simple, actually.
Very simple, yes.
All we have to do is remember this. We add an ed.
Very
So,
good.
if the present simple is I walk to the stars, present simple.
Yes. In my dreams, I walked to the stars yesterday.
Past simple.
Very good, past simple. De obicei, da, merg înspre stele, to the stars, dar aseară, în visele mele, am mers pe stele sau am mers înspre stele. O acțiune care a avut loc în trecut. Very good, Akshay.
I wish I could do that. Ed walked to the stars.
Very good, in our dreams only. Okay, let's move on. So let's make it simpler. The past simple, which is quite simple. We usually add ed when talking about the past. So let's take some examples, Akshay, shall we?
Let's see. The first one is play. We change play in the simple past to played.
Played.
So we played football yesterday.
Very good. Talk, talked. Maria talked with her friend for hours.
In the past.
In the past, of course.
Jump, jumped, ed. Radu jumped over the moon.
Very good. And the last one, open, opened. So open in the present, opened in the past.
Ed.
The new, yes, ed, of course. The new shop opened a week ago. Magazinul cel nou s-a deschis acum o săptămână, cu o săptămână în urmă. So, in the past, yes.
In the
tell me.
past. But something to remember.
Yes, that we need to add ed to the
Ed.
verb. Very good. And what else?
In the next slide, we will see there is
Yeah.
a small rule that we must remember.
Very good.
Not all verbs take an ed. There are some verbs, such as.
So you are talking about irregular verbs?
Not really, Gabriela. Let's
Not
have a look at
really.
the next slide.
Okay, let's look at the next slide. Good.
These are again verbs that have an ed ending, but when they end with an e, such as the verb live,
Live.
I cannot add an ed, I just add a d.
Very good. So we've got close, closed. Sneeze, sneezed. Smile, smiled. So the example tells us that when I lived in Bucharest, I sneezed a lot. Apci. Când trăiam în București, ce făceam? Strănutam foarte mult, da? I sneezed a lot. Very good. Let's move on, Akshay. Shall we? Okay.
And let's go on to the negative form of the past simple. Again, quite simple actually.
Good.
But I wish it could be so simple. Radu jumped over the moon. Why not make it negative just by putting a no? Radu no jumped over the moon.
So these two examples are okay, are correct. What do you think, children?
What do the children think? I think they have a hint because I've put this big cross out here.
So they are incorrect.
They are incorrect. I cannot say no and make it negative. Instead, past simple Negative
Yes.
form is like this.
Very good. So Radu did not jump over the moon or didn't jump over the moon. So this is the long form and this is the short form. Didn't jump. Did not jump. And Akshay?
And we have some more examples just to make you remember them. We didn't play football yesterday, or I can say we did not play football yesterday. The students didn't talk in the class. Anna didn't walk to the stars.
To the stars. So we have to bear in our minds that when we use the past simple in the negative, we use did not or didn't plus
Plus the verb.
with ed,
Not with the ed.
without ed.
Without the ed.
Very good, Akshay. Let's move on. Let's go to interrogative form. Okay, if we want to make the interrogative in the past simple, just remember that we need to use did.
Did.
Okay, let's see. The first one, Radu jumped over the moon. How can we
Ask
make a
the question.
Of course, ask a question.
Since this is in the past tense, Radu jumped over the moon. My question will be, did Radu jump over the moon?
Okay, very good.
And once again, like
Of course.
Gabriela pointed out, there is no ed. Only remember the word did. Did Radu jump over the moon?
Very good. The second one, I talked to her yesterday. Did I talk to her yesterday? I-am vorbit eu ieri. And the last one, we walked to Bucharest last week. Did we walk to Bucharest last week? Good. So what do we have to bear in our mind? That we use
Just the word did.
for the interrogative form. Good. Let's practice our favorite part, kids.
Your favorite part.
Yes.
Let's practice because practice makes
Makes perfect.
perfect. Let's go.
Good. So that is the model, okay, of your example.
This is just the simple tense. What we need to do is change it into the simple past, then change it into the simple past negative, and the simple past interrogative. So let's
Good.
have a look how it's done.
Mihaela plays with her sister. This is in the present simple, maybe?
Present simple,
Present simple. Let's see.
past simple,
Mihaela played with her sister yesterday or the day before before yesterday. Mihaela didn't play with her sister.
past simple,
Past
negative,
simple, negative.
and interrogative.
Did Mihaela play with her sister? So, what can we see here? Played in the affirmative form.
Affirmative, played,
Yes, ed.
ed,
Didn't plus verb without ed.
without ed,
And the interrogative, did subject play without ed
without
as well.
ed again.
Very good, children. Let's move on.
One more example. Ronaldo lives in Galatz. I wish this was true, but this is the present tense. Let's change it to the past tense.
Okay, let's move on. Ronaldo lived in Galați, so
D,
yes,
only the D this time because there's already an E. Okay.
very good. The negative,
Ronaldo didn't live in Galatz.
good. And the last one,
Did Ronaldo live in Galatz?
very good. Okay, so the boys, so there are two of them or three or more. The boys you can substitute with they, the
They.
boys, okay? The boys dance every day. Present simple, isn't it, Akshay?
Present simple.
Present simple.
Let's make it the past. Simple past. The boys danced yesterday.
Very good.
Negative.
The boys didn't dance yesterday. And Akshay, the last one.
Did the boys dance yesterday? And one more thing I'd like
Yes,
to point
please.
out to Gabriela. Actually, the D is not in this negative, nor is it in this one.
Very good.
This is simply because did actually is the past tense. So try to remember that.
Very
did
good.
and
Okay.
didn't.
Okay, now this is
Now we come to the tricky part.
to the tricky part. And I know that you don't like the list of the irregular verbs from the back of your course book, but we have to learn them.
We have to.
And sometimes by heart, okay? Trebuie să le învățăm pe de rost, altfel nu se poate. The irregular verbs. So, what is an irregular verb, teacher Akshay?
An irregular verb is a verb that doesn't actually follow the same conjugation pattern. It has a completely different pattern. There's no rule to it as such.
Very good, very good. Say they do not take D or ED.
No D, no ED.
No ED. So say is such a verb, and you'll see that to change it to the past simple, we don't add ED. We can't say said, okay, because the second form of the say is said. So rather it takes a new form.
A new form.
Okay, so tell us, why is an irregular verb called irregular verb?
I think, Gabriela, the only answer to that is because it is such an irregular verb. It just does not behave in the way it should. Like in this said, if I simply add ed, it would have been quite simple, but it's irregular. It changes form completely.
Very good. So, here is a list of the most common irregular verbs and their past tense forms, and you'll see all these forms in the next slide. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, let's take the first verb, be, which is very familiar, I think. You're very familiar with it. Be in the present, okay, the base form.
Yeah, was or were the simple past.
Good.
These words you must try to remember.
Of course.
Because these usually we use all the time. Have also, the past is had, not haved. And similarly, do becomes did.
Very good. Say, said. Go, went. I go to school every day. I went to school yesterday.
Correct.
Get, I get up every morning at 7 o'clock. I got up at 7 o'clock yesterday morning. Make, made. I make a cake every day or every Sunday. I made a cake yesterday. No, without K, because K is a silent sound.
Silent K.
Yes. No,
becomes new.
Becomes new. Okay.
And this one
think.
also, the pronunciation, think, thought.
Very good. And
yesterday I thought about an idea.
Very good.
Take, took.
Okay.
I took my friend to Bucharest.
Very good.
Find, found. Yesterday I found 1 leu on the ground. Only 1 leu.
Only 1 leu. Okay.
See, saw. Come, came.
Very good.
My parents came to meet me.
Good. And give, gave. Tell, told. I tell him every day to behave himself. I told him yesterday to behave himself. Write, a scrie, wrote, am scris, sau a scris. So, there is something we need to tell them,
Of course.
about the second form of the verb. So, this form is used for all the persons. For I, you, he, she, it, for all of them. Okay?
Correct, Gabriela. It's a good thing that you pointed that out. Used for all the persons.
Very good. And so you can say, I write a letter every day. He wrote a letter yesterday. I wrote a letter yesterday. So this
remains
form
the same.
Remains the same. Okay?
Is it the same for write, present? I write, you write, she?
She writes.
With an S. Okay.
Yes, with an S.
So we must remember that.
Yes, we can't play with the present and simple. It's tricky.
It's a bit tricky.
Okay. Bring, brought. Very good. A aduce. Am adus. Run. Alerg. I run every day. I run for 40 kilometers every day.
Really?
I ran, not really, but it's for the example. I ran 20 kilometers yesterday. Speak. I speak to my friends every day. I spoke to my teacher yesterday. A vorbi, am vorbit. Eat and ate. I eat a cake every day, I wish. And I ate a cake yesterday. And that's all with our irregular verbs.
But of
which
course,
are
you must remember that it's a long list. But
course.
if we get used to these verbs, I'm sure it'll be easier for you later.
very good. Let's move on to the past continuous.
The past continuous.
Okay, what can you tell us about the past continuous?
I think we get some idea from the word continuous itself and the word past, of course. So I think they are talking about an action that was going on in the past for some time.
Very good.
As suppose I ask you, Gabriela,
Yeah.
what were you doing yesterday at 7 a.m.?
I think I was eating. I was in my kitchen and I was eating and preparing for school.
Okay, so was eating becomes your past continuous simply because Gabriela in the past at 7 o'clock was doing something.
Very good. What about you, teacher Akshay? What were you doing yesterday at 7 o'clock in the morning?
Yesterday at 7 o'clock, I think I was preparing for school.
As well. Okay, very good. Very good. We are very dedicated teachers. Okay, let's move on. So, the past continuous is an action going on in the past.
In the past,
Okay, what else do we have there?
we have three types of actions going on in the past. An ongoing past action, such as I was sleeping at 7 a.m. or I was eating grapes
Very good.
for a certain amount of time in the past. But the past continuous can also be an interrupted ongoing past action.
Very
What does this mean? This means that one action is interrupted when something else happened,
Very
such as
good.
this: I was eating grapes when she
she arrived.
arrived.
Very good. But let me ask you something, Akshay. Did we know when this action took place? Did we know the time?
It actually quite depends, like the question. What were you doing yesterday at 7 a.m.? I can tell you that at that time I was eating grapes.
Did
So
we know?
usually
Yes. Did we know when it finished?
they don't really specify when it finished.
So we
it's
do not
just an
know.
action, yeah,
It's just an action going on in the past.
in the past.
Very good. And the last one, parallel actions.
Parallel actions means basically two actions going on at the same time, such as I was eating while my mother was talking. Similarly, I was writing while she was dictating. Dictating?
Okay.
Speaking.
Speaking. So I was listening to you while you were
Talking.
talking to me. Very good.
So two parallel actions.
Two parallel actions
In the past.
in the
So,
past.
Great.
Very good. Now,
And now to help you get used to the way the past continuous is formed, we have a little something.
a little something for you. Okay. Good.
Rocking English.
I was laughing and you were smiling. Sun was shining and the birds were flying. Wind was blowing and the waves were breaking. A million pictures that we were taking. Yesterday was the
Very nice.
Very cute.
Okay, by Tom Samek. And thank you for your resources. Okay.
And what do we get from that? Was and were. So let's have a look at how we form the past continuous.
Very good.
Very simple. If you heard the video carefully, you'll already know was or were plus the verb in the ing form.
Good.
So when do I use was
Let me think.
and when were?
Maybe we can say I was singing.
I was singing, yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Maybe he was.
He was, she was, fine.
Yes.
Great.
And the other persons?
You.
We, you, they.
You were
Very good.
They
You
were.
They were.
and we were.
And we were.
Correct.
Okay. Let's move on.
Simple. I was eating my dinner at 8 p.m.
Very good. Radu was jumping over the moon when his mother called him. He was very happy.
And last,
And the last one?
we were dancing while they were singing. These three examples also have a look at them. This is an action going on in the past, dinner at 8 p.m.
Good.
This is an action interrupted by another action. He was jumping, going on when his mother called him. And the last one is what we talked about, parallel actions. Two actions going on at the same time in
At
the
the same
past.
time. Very good, Akshay. So we were dancing while they were singing.
Singing.
Noi dansam în timp ce ei cântau. Okay, let's see now. Let's
Okay.
remember.
Let's remember.
So teacher Akshay took this example, so this verb run, and he conjugated it in the past as continuous, right?
Correct?
Good. So I was running, eu alergam, at some point in the past, he, she, it was running, we were running, and they were running. So look at these examples. We use was with the first person singular and the third person singular. And the other persons take
Were.
and obviously the verb plus
ing.
ing.
Great.
Very good, children. Let's move on now.
To the negative, past continuous negative. So let's take a sentence.
Good.
Sarah was climbing the tree, past continuous, sometime in the past, action going on, negative. Sarah was not climbing the tree.
Good.
Or
And if
short
we
form,
want,
Sarah wasn't climbing the tree.
very good. So this is the long form.
The long form.
Good. And this is the
Short form,
short form. Very good. And the first one is in the
past continuous,
very good. Affirmative. Good. Now they were singing loudly at some point in the past. In the negative, they were not singing loudly, long form, and the last one, they weren't singing loudly.
quite simple, I
Quite
think.
simple, very good. Let's take the interrogative form now.
The interrogative.
Good. Let's see, how do we form the interrogative form? Let's see. So we've got was or were plus subject plus verb ing. So was is used for the first person singular and
And the
third,
Yeah.
yes, and were for the other.
For the others.
For the other persons, okay? So we've got, were you talking on the phone, teacher Akshay?
Were you talking on the phone? Were you plus the verb ing form. But before we go into this, let's talk a little bit about the past continuous affirmative again. So you'll see the link. If I make this into past continuous affirmative, it is you were talking on the phone. So in the interrogative, only bring the were in the beginning. Were you talking on the phone? Question mark.
Okay.
Similarly, Gabriela.
Was Maria sleeping when you reached the house? Dormea Maria când ai ajuns acasă? Okay. Were the students writing the test at 10 a.m.? scriau scriau la test, dădeau testul la ora 10 dimineața. And the last one was Christian or Christian in Romanian, was Christian running. Dacă alerga, Cristian, but we do not know at what time
At what time
he was
exactly?
running, okay?
But we do know it's in the past because
Yes.
it was running. So simple enough, was, were, plus the subject, plus the verb in the ing form.
Very good. Now, we need to spot the mistakes.
Spot the mistakes.
Good.
And remember, children, the more you practice, the easier it becomes for you.
Very good.
So let's have a look at the first one. There are some mistakes in these sentences. Identify the past tenses that we have used and identify any mistakes that you can see. Like the first one, she was seeing the shark while she was surfing.
Good.
Sounds like a mistake somewhere. I think this was
Yes.
surfing is a continuous action.
Yes.
So that's fine in the past continuous.
Good.
What about this one, Gabriela? She was seeing the shark. Was it a continuous action or did she just
No, it isn't.
see it?
It isn't. No, it isn't a continuous action. It's a shorter one.
Shorter
okay.
one.
This one is the longer
Yeah.
action. So I think we need to use the past simple there.
Of course.
So the second form of the verb see is saw.
Saw. Irregular.
Irregular verb. She saw the shark while she was surfing. Okay? Ea a văzut rechinul în timp ce făcea surfing. It's not quite a nice sight, but
I hope she survived.
yes, I hope she survived. Okay, let's take the second one, Akshay. What was you doing last night at 8? Was?
Doesn't sound good also.
Doesn't sound. Yes. Where do you think it is the mistake?
I think this was. Do I say you was or you were?
I think you were.
You were.
You were, because we said that was
Was.
is used with first
The
person
first. Yeah.
singular and third person singular. So, what were you doing last night at 8? Ce făceai tu aseară la ora 8?
What were you doing?
Very good. Teacher Akshay, please.
Why don't we try this one now? I was reading a book when my brother was getting back.
Okay. I was reading a book, so that is a longer action.
Longer action.
Yes, so I was doing something when someone, my brother, interrupted me. So we can't use
The past
the
continuous
past
in this.
continuous.
So I'll keep it as I was reading a book when my brother got back.
Got back. Let's see.
Again, an irregular verb, getting, get.
Very good. Good. So let's go to the fourth one. I was going to the cinema last night, but I wasn't liking the film. Do we use like
Wasn't
in the
liking?
in this aspect, like this?
Not really, not really.
Continuous aspect? I don't think so. So, I was going to the cinema last night. I was going. So this is a no. It's okay. Good. The other one, I wasn't liking the film.
The sentence doesn't sound so good.
Yes.
So let's have a look at it. I was
Let's
going to
see.
the cinema. Maybe I can say I went to the
Very
cinema
good.
last night, but I didn't like the film. Both of them in the past tense.
Very good. Very good. Good. So we spotted the mistakes.
And now let's have a look at a few more, but this time it will be your turn.
Your turn. Okay.
So have a quick look at these sentences. Maybe you can take a photograph, and the next time we meet, we will go over the answers with you.
Of course. I'll take the first one, Akshay.
You
Can
want to
I?
help them out? Okay, just one.
Just one.
Okay.
So what did he see while he swam? Ce a văzut el în timp ce înnota? So I think the second one,
The swam, okay.
Yes.
Second action.
the second action isn't correct in the correct tense.
In
I
the
mean.
correct tense. That is because it was an action that she was doing
Yes,
continuously.
in progress.
So let's change it. What did he see while
He was swimming.
Great.
Very good. So you've got only 4 sentences.
Only 4, and I'm sure they'll do it well.
I'm sure about it too. Okay. I think we've done for today.
Done for today.
Let's see. So this is our bibliography. Okay, all the YouTube sites,
pictures,
the pictures, everything. We are also very grateful for all the people that supported us and gave us this opportunity.
Like Adrian,
Yes, like Adrian here with us.
of course.
Yes. And I think that,
Brings us to a close.
yes, bring us to a close. So, have a nice day, children. I hope you've enjoyed our presentation. See you next time. Goodbye.
See you, take care, and stay safe.